What's going on, guys? JSkeleton here with the Random Guys today, coming at you with a Nintendo Switch review after 1 month. I didn't want to do like this kind of review early on. This is going to be kind of like a looser review, you know, a little bit more relaxed, if you will. But it's still going to be everything you need to know about the Nintendo Switch, all the good, all the bad. I am obviously a huge Nintendo fan, but this is not going to be biased at all. I always give my complete honest critiques on things. So this is going to include all the things I like, all the things I don't like, all the things I think they need to fix, the things I think that are already great. It's going to be a mix of both. So don't worry, it's not going to be biased. It's going to be 100% just kind of my experience with it, and you're going to get a good mix of what I think are some pros and cons of the console. So we're gonna go through this in a few different sections. So this is the console itself. Okay, so it's beautiful. I got the ones with the neon Joy-Cons. Now I'm gonna just talk to you guys as if you've never heard of the Nintendo Switch, as if you're someone who maybe heard briefly about it, and you're just kind of wondering, is it worth buying or not? But this is good for people who have heard about the Nintendo Switch as well. I'm just gonna talk as if there are people watching that don't know what it is. So this is the Nintendo Switch. Now there's a dock. Okay, the dock is hooked up to my TV. I didn't want to unplug it all, but it's just literally a dock that you slide this into like this, and there's a USB-C port on the bottom, and it kind of just kind of fits into place. And I don't know how it works, but it kind of fits, like it just fits like snugly. Like it's hard to actually miss putting it in correctly. You just try to line it up, and you're gonna you might have to wiggle it a little bit. You'll hear it kind of like drop in, and that's how you know it's in the dock, right? And then so when it's in the dock, it's gonna go and project onto your TV. So the dock has an HDMI, so it plugs into your TV or monitor, whatever you're using that's HDMI. But the crazy thing is this is kind of a hybrid console, right? So it's kind of like a TV home console, but it's also like a handheld at the same time. Now obviously Nintendo is marketing this thing as a home console, so like the Super NES, the NES, the N64, the GameCube, the Wii, the Wii U, those are all home consoles. Handhelds are things like the 3DS, Game Boy, stuff like that. So they're marketing it as a home console. So it is a home console first, but the cool thing is a home console that you can take with you on the go. So again, imagine it's docked. I can take it out of my dock and then just go to like an appointment or wherever you have to go, on the train, on the subway, on whatever you do. You can take it out with you on the go, or even just take it up to bed with you if you have to go to bed, but I mean, you don't really want to go to sleep yet. You want to play a little bit more in bed, or if you're sick, bring it with you in bed. It's a great experience. So it's honestly one of the craziest consoles I've ever experienced. And so like I said, this is like the tablet portion right here. This is where all the guts are. So like the CPU, the GPU, the RAM, all that stuff is in the tablet portion. The dock is just that. It's a dock. It projects your image onto your TV, basically. That's not really the right way to phrase it, but it allows you so you can hook it up to your TV. So again, you can just take it out of your dock, and away you go. So these are Joy-Cons. Now there's like these little release triggers on the back. See those black buttons right here? So when you push them down, you can slide the Joy-Con out of the tablet portion, and there you go. You got 2 Joy-Cons. So again, this is the tablet portion right here. You got on the bottom here, there's a kickstand. Again, there's a USB-C, as previously mentioned. There's a kickstand here. Now, the only thing I will complain about the kickstand, it is a little bit flimsy when you have it set up. It's not a lot to really worry about kind of toppling over, but it's something that, because it is off-centered and it's a little bit of a flimsy kickstand, I would just be careful with it, you know what I mean? There are accessories you can buy that are different kind of stands you can put your dock in. And it's also worth noting, you cannot charge this while it is like in they call it tabletop mode. So when you have the kickstand out, you set it on the table, that's called tabletop mode. So you actually don't need the Joy-Cons attached to it. So you can just sit back, set it up on your table like this on the kickstand and start playing. But you can't charge it because the USB-C is on the bottom. So it's obviously one thing to keep in mind. If you want to get a different kind of, there's different kind of like stands that you can buy that kind of lift it up off the table a bit. That allows you to charge it, and it gives you a little bit more kind of height, so it's a little bit more eye level. But the experience in every single mode it's been amazing. I'm not gonna lie, it's been amazing. Whether I'm playing on like my TV monitor or whatever, or I take it off and I play on the go. So that's with the Joy-Cons attached. It's in your hand. That's called handheld mode. or whether I'm playing it on the tabletop mode. So I just kind of set it there and I play, you know, I sit back, you know, wherever I am, and I play like that. It's a very, very great experience, I'm not gonna lie. So anyways, on the console itself, right under the kickstand is an SD card slot. So the console comes with 32 gigabytes memory built in, which is not a lot, to be honest. If you're gonna go all digital, you're definitely gonna want to get an SD card. If you're gonna go like half, then I would still suggest getting an SD card. The beauty of it is you can get different sizes of SD cards. Now this does support up to right now it's up to like I think 250 gigabytes, because that's all that's really on the market. But whenever the 2 terabyte SD cards come out, it will support those as well. Those are probably going to be very, very expensive though. So I mean, so a game like say Breath of the Wild, which is one of the biggest games on the Nintendo Switch right now, it takes up about 13 gigabytes of space. Just kind of give you guys an idea. I mean, there's other games out there that take a lot more space. I think Dragon Quest 32 gigabytes, I believe. But that's not out in North America at the moment. Anyways, so like I said, very, very amazing systems. On the top here, you got a microphone jack. This is the game card slot. So this is where the game cards go, and I'll just show you guys real quick what it looks like. So these are game cards. They're very small. If you lick them, they taste really disgusting. They actually coated them in something so that kids and animals, I guess, would not eat them. And then there's like a cooling fan on top. And then on the right side here, you got your volume and then your power. So it's very, very handy. So regarding the screen itself, there's a couple things I want to quickly mention. It is a touch screen. And it's a capacitive touchscreen, so it's you know, it's not like the Wii U. It's different. It's kind of like your phone, if you will, right? So it's like multi-touch. So you know, you could do things like multi-touch if you're playing like a rhythm game, such as Voez, which is out on the Switch. It's a music rhythm game you could buy, or you know, different things like that. You know, again, it works like your phone. So I'll show you guys really quick. If I touch the eShop here, boom, I touched it, right? It's all touchscreen, so that's actually really cool. There's not a lot of games right now that utilizes the touchscreen. There's a couple of them out there, but the other thing I want to mention is that this screen is absolutely beautiful. It is a 720p screen, and we've never really had that in any kind of handheld form whatsoever. I believe the PS Vita was the next closest thing that was had a crisp screen, and I believe that one was 500p, I believe. So this is really like a really nice screen. It's not going to really, you know, kind of convert well over video to show you guys, but you can kind of maybe get an idea. It's very nice. You know, it's a very, very, very nice screen. I can't say that enough. The screen is absolutely beautiful. It's impressive. It's impressive. So it's a ton of fun to actually play handheld. It looks beautiful. So as far as the Joy-Cons go, let me just explain those really quick. The Joy-Cons are actually an amazing piece of technology in my opinion. I'm very impressed with them, minus the fact that there's one issue. So this left Joy-Con, for some reason it's wired a little bit differently internally. It has the antenna is a little bit different inside, and that can cause some desyncing issues. I didn't experience it for the first couple weeks, but then the past couple weeks I have been experiencing it. If you do have that issue, you can just send it to Nintendo and they'll kind of fix it. They put a little piece of like coated styrofoam that's or not styrofoam, but coated foam that basically helps block any kind of interference with the Joy-Con. So it does increase the range, if you will, and less desyncing issues. I've not sent it in yet. I'm just kind of too lazy to, but you can if you have any issues. Not everyone is having these issues though. But again, so you got these two Joy-Cons, right? So basically you can hold one in each hand, or these there's this thing called a grip that comes with it. So the grip here is this thing right here. So it's basically kind of like the body, the shell of a controller. So just like the tablet portion, there's like these rails on the side of the Joy-Cons, and there's like these rails right here. Those same rails are on the side of the tablet portion as well. So you just kind of slide it in, and there's a satisfying click. Again, click, and then there you go. So you have kind of like your standard kind of controller feel. It is worth noting though that this is a little bit small, on the small side. The buttons on the Joy-Cons are probably the size of the 3DS, or close to it anyways. They're a little bit smaller than what you're used to, but it feels very comfortable. It's not an issue at all in my opinion. So it's also worth noting the triggers on the back are not like the Xbox One and PS4 triggers. They're clickable triggers. They're not you know, sensitive triggers. There's also this Pro controller I'll show you guys in a second. We'll get into that in a minute. So this grip comes with it. The only problem is this grip does not charge. And here's where things get a little bit confusing, is that they actually sell a charging grip separately, okay? So I'll show you guys the difference here. So they look pretty much the same. I got two other Joy-Cons in here. They look pretty much the same, except that the inside, I'll show you guys really quick. The inside on the charging grip is kind of, has a clear look to it. And literally the only difference is that, see, there's no USB on this one. This one has a USB, so it's kind of annoying. It's not a big deal to get a charging grip. I did because I was getting an extra set of Joy-Cons and I needed another way to charge them. Because the way to charge the Joy-Cons is actually when your Joy-Cons are on the tablet and the tablet is docked, it's charging, even if the console is on standby. So if you do not power it completely down, you just push the power button once, kind of like you do on your phone, right? It just goes to sleep. The Joy-Cons charge, so if you just do that overnight, I mean, you'll never run out of juice. So if you only have one set of Joy-Cons, you don't really need the charging grip, because these actually last 20 hours. I've played a ton of Breath of the Wild on streams, things like that. I've never once ran into any issues of them dying or anything like that. So it's honestly not a big deal. I mean, you don't really need a charging grip. There's also a charging dock you can get, where it's kind of like, you know, your standard controller dock. You just dock your controllers and do it, and it plugs into your Nintendo Switch dock via USB. So it's a charging dock, this one. It's separate from the Switch dock. So like I said, it's not a necessity, but it's kind of weird that they just didn't include it with this grip, because it gets confusing for consumers that don't know, you know, what the difference is. So you'll get the normal grip with your Nintendo Switch, but the charging grip is sold separately for, I think it was like 39 Canadian, if I remember right. 40 bucks Canadian, that's probably like, what, 29 US, something like that. So keep that in mind. There's one other controller here, I'll show you guys in a second, but really quickly, the beauty of the Joy-Con, there's actually these wrist straps that come with it. I'll show you guys, hold on. So similar to the Wii remote, they come with like these wrist straps, right? If you want to put the Joy-Con on your wrist, because there are some games like 1-2 Switch where you're using one Joy-Con each and you're swinging it around or whatever. Now these slide on the rails. Now this is very important. So this Joy-Con, this is the right Joy-Con, has a plus button. Now these wrist straps, one side has a plus button, one side has a minus button. You have to line up the plus with the plus and the minus with the minus. So the left Joy-Con has a minus, which, by the way, that acts as select, and the plus acts as a start. So let's say I want to put on this Joy-Con. I mean, it's very, very simple, but some people are kind of messing it up somehow. You just line up the minus with the minus, you slide it on, and there you go. So you have a wrist strap, and then you push this little white button down to lock the wrist strap into place, and then you can put it on your arm. Now, the other good thing about this is that you can use these Joy-Cons sideways. So it's kind of like the Nintendo Switch comes with two controllers already, because you can play them sideways with a lot of the games that are out there for multiplayer. So let's say I hand one Joy-Con to a friend or a family member, and you know, and then I use one. We can flip them sideways, and there's like these triggers on top, right? Even without the wrist strap here, there's these two little trigger buttons, shoulder buttons rather, on top. So you kind of acts like this. So you use the left stick to move, or the stick like this to move, and then the buttons like this. So it's, and then you got the shoulder buttons. So it's very interesting. Now, if you feel like it's a little bit too small, you can add the wrist strap, because that adds a little bit of height, feels a little bit more full, and it actually surprisingly works very, very well in my opinion. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I don't think it's going to cause you hand cramping. Maybe without the wrist strap, I mean, because the wrist strap does make quite the difference. So if you feel like it's too small like this, just add the wrist strap, and you know, it's going to add that extra height. So I think that's it about the Joy-Cons. Joy-Cons, like I said, are a very amazing piece of technology. You can play them on the Switch in handheld mode. You can play one in each hand like this, which I find very relaxing. That's how I play. Or you can put them in the actual grip. Again, the grip comes with it. The charging grip does not. And then there's the Pro Controller. So the Pro Controller is a completely separate, different controller you have to buy separately. It's a very expensive one. The Joy-Cons, by the way, in the right stick, so the right Joy-Con, there's an NFC reader in it. They also have a gyro in here. They have an IR sensor on the bottom of the right Joy-Con only. So there's a lot of technology packed into these. They also have a thing called HD Rumble, which works surprisingly well. So for a game like 1-2 Switch, they have a game called Ball Count. You have to feel how many balls are in the Joy-Con, and it actually feels like there's little marbles rolling around. So HD Rumble, surprisingly very, very impressive. It's legit. Some of my friends have tried it, and they were shocked at how legit this technology is. But if you wanted a more standard controller, you can buy the Pro controller. Now again, these cost a lot of money. It's like 90 bucks if you live in Canada. I think it's like 80 if you live in the US. There's a lot of technology because this has the same kind of technology. It has like the motion, the gyro, you know, it has the NFC reader under the right stick. So that's for scanning amiibo, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. There's a lot to this console. I'm trying to cover as much as I can. We're getting pretty lengthy in this video, but so this is the Pro controller, and again, you can buy this separately. It does not come with a Switch, but you know, you got it's kind of like your standard controller. It feels great. I use this mostly for games like Splatoon 2 because I think it's really comfortable for a game like that. But I really like the Joy-Cons, and I love that, you know, those little kind of controllers. I love them, so I use that for everything else. Let's move in more to the operating system real quick. All right, friends. So when you actually turn on your Nintendo Switch from sleep mode, you're gonna see this menu right here, which is kind of like a quick menu. You can see some stuff, some kind of like news and stuff on the left side there. But just go ahead and push A to get into your main menu, if you will. So this is kind of like the home menu, the operating system. Now, my one complaint with this is, I mean, it's very clean, but I'm the kind of person who likes things. This is more personal preference. It seems a little bit oversimplified, in my opinion. Maybe you'll love it. That aside, we have your games here in tile format, and there's 12 tiles on the main menu. Now, once you fill them all up, I'm really close to doing so. I have 4 more games. You're gonna have a section here that says, you know, browse all your games, which will bring you to a different screen that shows all your games, again, in tile format, but kind of more like stacked rather than, you know, like this, sideways. So these are kind of like the way your games look, and if you hover over them, it says the title on the top of the game here. Now, you got these different sections down here. You got news. So news is kind of like where you can get all kinds of Nintendo Switch news. It's like following Nintendo on social media. They post all the different kind of news and stuff here. So news on games that are coming out, you know, kind of behind the scenes look, like stuff like behind the scenes for Breath of the Wild, stuff like that. If you're wondering why some of it looks Japanese, it's because I actually have both a normal account and a Japanese account, because the other thing about the Nintendo Switch is that it's not region locked. So this is the way it works, is that when you actually start up a game, I'm not going to completely start it up, it'll say to select your user. So when you turn a console on, usually that's when it asks you to sign in to your profile. But this is different. So this is whenever you choose a certain app, it'll ask you to which account you want to sign in with. And if you want to browse your actual page, you can just go to the top left corner here and select whatever profile is yours, and you can check your profile. This is where one of my bigger complaints comes in. Friends list is very sloppy. The only way to kind of have any kind of organization, if you will, is this thing where it's like you can select someone to be your best friend, and that just basically puts them at the top of the list. Now, if they're online, they'll be the first people you see online. Or if, say, everyone's offline, they're the first people you see offline. Things like that. It's a little bit sloppy. I wish there was a little bit better of a way. It's not a huge complaint. But the other thing is, let's say I go to one of my friends. There's literally no option to send messages, which is a big complaint. I think we really need a way to send messages. I think that should be updated in the future. I would hope so. I don't know if it will be, but really your only options is to remove your friend or block them, which obviously I'm not going to be doing here. You can see their play activity, stuff like that, which kind of leads me into my other thing, is if you want to see how much time you played in a game, unlike Wii U, there's no actually activity log. It's 10 days after you played the game for the first time. You don't have to play it for 10 days. 10 days after you played it for the first time, it'll show you how many hours you've played. And it's not a specific hour, it's by 5. So it says I played 140 hours or more. I could have played 144 hours and 59 minutes, and until I play that one last minute, it won't show me that I've played actually 145. And then the other thing is that adding a friend is by friend code again, which is a little bit frustrating because friend codes are a little bit annoying. It's something that a lot of people found annoying on the 3DS. So you can search for friends using a friend code or recent players, which actually is pretty good. So this is like all the people I played with last in online multiplayer. So there's like Super Bomberman. If I scroll all the way down, you'll see stuff probably like Splatoon 2 and stuff like that. So you can also search for local users. So if you're both in the same room, kind of like 3DS, you can add each other like that as well. Then there's suggested friends, which is going to be you know, people you've met in different apps like Meetamo or Super Mario Run, things like that. And then you got your username and stuff like that, where you can change your nickname and stuff. So that's a weird thing. You can just change your nickname on the fly, which is, I don't know. It's and it only gives you 10 characters as well. So I mean, those might be small complaints, some of them, but I still think they're worth noting because some of them are a little bit annoying. Anyways, moving on. So we got the Nintendo eShop. You have album, which is screenshots. I'm not going to go into it because I might have some spoilery stuff for things like Breath of the Wild. But it basically just shows all your pictures, kind of like an album, kind of standard stuff. Controllers. So this is where you go if you want to change the grip order. So if I want to say, so now these are each one controller. So, or if I want to change it, I push L and R. There you go. Now pairs it as one controller. You know what I mean? Or if I want to turn on my Pro controller, things like that. You can pair new controllers as well. Different things like that. Pretty self-explanatory stuff. Then you got your system settings. I mean, these all self-explanatory, nothing too crazy. I've done a whole operating system walkthrough if you guys want to check that out. Then you got your sleep mode, which again, it just puts it to sleep. And if you hold down the home button, you got this little kind of mini menu. Just not a lot going on here. Just airplane mode and sleep mode. All right, so we're gonna boot up the eShop here. You guys are gonna see how fast it loads. So I literally just started it and bang. That is one of the pros on this console. So you got recent releases, you got best sellers, which are kind of like the top best-selling games right now. And then you got your coming soon, so if you want to see which games are coming out soon, you know, you got Puyo Puyo Tetris and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that is showing up here right now. And if you go to a game, you can see, you know, how much the game costs. This is Canadian currency, by the way, so don't freak out. It says proceed to purchase. You can go through here like this and see the screenshots. You can make them big if you click on the screenshot. So you got different stuff like that. It's pretty cool. You got your description. And then you got kind of like software details. So my only complaint really about the eShop is that it's a little bit, again, oversimplified. I'm the kind of guy that likes, you know, I'm a huge fan of like the PlayStation Network store and the Xbox Live store. And I feel like this is a little bit oversimplified, but again, this is personal preference. The operating system is extremely smooth though, so I can't complain on that front. It works very, very, very well. But I mean, I guess that's for the most part, you know, the operating system. There's not a whole lot to talk on that front. The last thing I want to mention about hardware is that the wireless in the console seems to not be the greatest. So the wireless network card, if you will, that's to connect over Wi-Fi. You can buy a LAN adapter separately. I believe you can buy third-party LAN adapters. I ended up buying the first-party Nintendo Switch one, but any Ethernet LAN adapter should work as long as it's USB 3.0. I'm pretty sure 2.0 would work as well. Wireless it's not really that great on here. Then again, it might just be my house. I just kind of think it's the way my house is kind of built, and I experienced a lot of Wi-Fi issues in my house. So I mean, you guys, that was a little bit up for debate, if you will. All right, my friends. So as far as games go, I mean, you know, there's some third-party support coming. There's a lot of first-party titles on the console right now that are a lot of fun, like Breath of the Wild, but they're kind of rolling them out slowly. So at this current moment, there's not a ton of games. There's some really good ones that I would still suggest picking up, especially, you know, I'd still say the Switch is worth picking up now for, like Breath of the Wild is a great game. If you're not into Breath of the Wild, I mean, maybe wait till some bigger first-party titles come out, like Splatoon 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which comes out very shortly. But for the most part, you know, the games are going to be coming out slowly and gradually, which is a good thing. It's just a little bit annoying at first because you kind of have a little bit of a lack of titles to play at the very beginning. But there's a lot more games on the Nintendo Switch now than there was a month ago. So they are coming out very, very consistently, you know, whether they're small indie titles or, you know, old school classic games and stuff like that. The other thing is Virtual Console is not coming yet. It might come, I don't know, we'll probably get an announcement at E3 2017, most likely, but that's not official either. And then finally, once the fall rolls around, you are going to have to pay $30 Canadian, I believe it is, a year for an online subscription. So keep that in mind. It's kind of like PlayStation Network and Xbox Live. You'll get to basically rent for free a virtual console game every month. So unlike PlayStation Network and Xbox Live, you don't get to keep the game, but you get to basically rent it for free for that month, if you will. So there's some pros and cons of the console. Overall, I think it's an amazing experience. I think the console is a ton of fun. And I would honestly give it a probably solid 9 out of 10. I mean, I have a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of stuff they need to fix, but the overall experience is great, so that's why I would give it a 9 out of 10. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Have you picked up a Nintendo Switch yet? If you have, what do you think about it? Give me your thoughts down in the comment section below, and I apologize if this review is a little bit lengthy and kind of loose, but I want to give you guys as much information as possible. So, if you can find a Nintendo Switch as well, that's the other thing, because, retailers seem to be restocking weekly. They're getting, small shipments weekly. So just, if you're trying to get a Nintendo Switch, just keep on the lookout, keep calling your retailers, stuff like that. So, we're going to wrap up this video, though. If you guys enjoyed it, smash the like button, subscribe, the comment, share, and all the awesome stuff. If there's anything I forgot to mention, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. I will do my very best to answer them. But again, I'll catch you guys in the next video, and like always, until next time, game on.